Everyone has a piece of paper in front of them. I told everyone to bring some paper and a pen. Okay. And I want you to write not many, not even two, one business goal. If that's writing a book, a passion in your heart where you say, God, I would really, don't think about making money yet, but business or ministry, I would really like to do this thing, this one goal for 2022. Write that down right now. Okay. And then I'm going to have you do step 2 once you write that down. The next thing I want you to do, any white space you have, blank space, you're going to put one thought per line. So don't write a paragraph. I just want you to listen to the sentences in your mind concerning that goal. So I'll give you an example. Let's say my goal is to make $100,000 in 2022. I'm going to put that at the top of the paper, and then I'm going to write all my thoughts about what it's going to take to make that 100K. What do I think about me making 100K? Like, I'm going to put down all my thoughts. So I want you guys to do that. One sentence per line, okay? And I'm going to put a timer here, and I'm just going to give you all the way till you finish that paper, but we're going to make it concise, and we're going to give you 2 minutes to do that. The next step I want you to do, because you guys know the faith model. The next step I want you to do, circle any sentence that is an actual fact. Remember, fact is something both you and I can see. Anyone else have something that they circled as fact and they want to talk about it and say, is this actually a fact or is this a thought?
I have 3 facts, I think.
Okay, what are they?
I'm scared.
If someone says, I'm scared, is that a fact or is that a feeling?
Feeling.
Okay, what's your next one?
This could be big.
So this could be big. Is that talking about a fact that I can see now, or is it a future happenstance? Is it something I could touch that's tangible? Or
No.
So then it's not a fact. What's your next one?
All right. Let's see. 2 for 2.
I love
This
it.
stuff makes my brain go crazy. I love this.
I love you guys.
Love you too, Lily.
Diliana, you're next, girl. So you talked about going to sleep. You still haven't been able to go to sleep, and you said this sentence, and I want you to tell me now if this is a fact or a thought. Okay. So you said, once I get that in order, meaning sleep, once I get that in order, everything else is going to fall into place. Is that a fact or a thought?
A thought.
A thought. Very good. Very, very, very good. And you know why? Because all this time you keep thinking it's the sleeping issue. And I'm not saying you don't need sleep. Everyone needs more rest, right? But what I am saying is that let's say you have that in the back of your mind, because subconsciously those things run all the time. Our subconscious mind is on all the time. So even if you're not thinking about it on a day-to-day basis consciously, what happens is the moment you go to bed late, you've already decided in your subconscious mind, tomorrow's not going to work out for me because I'm going to sleep late today.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And so when we do that, because we have that underneath, now we think, if I get to bed early, it's all going to work out. And then we get to bed early one day, and then the next day it doesn't work out. And we're like, what the heck just happened? I thought that when I got to bed early, it was all going to fall into place. So the reason that I'm mentioning that is because I want you to start plucking out. What was your goal on the top of your paper that you wrote?
I struggled between writing book and speaking engagements, but writing books, like writing a book.
Okay, so writing a book. Are any of the sentences, like the thoughts you wrote, facts? Did you circle any facts?
I had circled, I have to get an editor.
Okay, so I have to get an editor, right? Is that a fact?
I thought so because I'm going to need one, but
when you are self-publishing, unless you're at getting signed by Hay House or like getting signed by someone else, they require, like they'll do the editing for you. But when you are self-publishing, you don't have to get an editor because that's in your mind and that's a thought you're having. Even writing it, you're saying to yourself, and if I were to tell you now, put that through a thought model, you're not going to get an editor. Now all of a sudden your brain's like, wait a minute, so I gotta edit this stuff? Like
My perfectionist brain right now is like, oh no.
right? And the thing is, you can pay for an editor. You can definitely do those things, but I have to sounds very different and produces something very different in our action, because the moment we move from I want to get an editor to I have to get an editor, do you see how different that sounds?
Yeah.
Did you have a goal, Renee?
So yes, I have, okay, I want to either join/start a life group.
Okay, your goal says I want to start/join.
Mhm.
Those are two different actions. So that's going to require two very different mindsets. Joining a life group, you're going to have different goals: fellowship, building relationship, being poured into, participating. Starting a life group is going to require you growing in your leadership, organizational skills, follow up,
Because I feel like that's what I was,
hospitality.
yeah, I was like, I want to do more of that because I feel like I kind of do it. And as I, watched her service, and because now that we moved to Jersey, I've been watching online, and like I feel like they push, but I feel like this is something I've always wanted to do. Like I feel like that's what I'm being called to do, because I feel like it would stretch me more than just joining it, because ultimately my main goal is to
Mhm.
create one. So,
Yeah.
but it kind of feels scary when you say that, because it's just like, oh,
I
but
was
I know it
I
would
was
be
literally,
better.
you can hear it. I love that you're catching those things,
Yeah.
because notice
Mhm,
how when someone says join/start,
mhm.
it sounds very different than start a life group. It
Yeah.
produces a very different emotion.
Mhm.
When you say join/start, you're encouraged, because you're like,
Mhm.
I want to do this. This is something I want to do. When you say start, you just told me you got scared.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is what our mind does, because once fear is involved in something, we buffer, because that's what your join. No, you said, I'm going to start one, /join, because it's like you get scared even writing it. You know what I'm saying? And so the first thing I'm going to tell you to do is give me one goal. So if you could slice up that join/start, do you
create
want
a
to
life
join
group.
first, or do you want, so you're going to start a life group.
Mhm.
Boom, there you go. That's a clear goal. Now, question for you. Wouldn't it, the thoughts that you wrote down, wouldn't they be different now because you're
Yeah.
starting a life group and you're not joining a life group?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So when we are looking at our minds, why are our goals so important to be super clear? Because they're going to produce something different in you. And if we're going to go out there and make money with our books and money with our courses and a value and difference in these life groups, everything happens after decision, right? But we have to be very clear on the decision we're going to make. So I love that you said now start a life group. Now give me a thought that might be a fact within that sentence. Do you have any thoughts in your paper? I mean, facts in your paper?
I don't know, a lot of thoughts.
Right. Okay. So, and I want you guys to know this, because it almost, I can hear it in everybody's voice. It almost sounds like when you guys find that these are thoughts and not facts, you're let down. Like, wait a minute. Like, hold on. I can hear it in everybody's voice.
It's true, I promise.
Exactly. And this is the thing. I mean, like the body, like what we do in life reacts to these thoughts. So every time I tell you guys, that's not a fact, that's not a fact, that's not a fact, that's not a fact, it's like you're let down, right? But I want you to know that the arena of thought, what did I say lives there? Three things. There's your thoughts, your programming, your experiencing, your conditioning, your upbringing, all that. There's your conditioning, thoughts of the enemy. He's a deceiver. He's a liar. And there's just things that will not and are not true about us. But there are God-driven thoughts in there. And those thoughts, they're not bad, but they are thoughts. Okay. And that's what I want you guys to know, that these thoughts, I don't want you to be let down by the good ones. I want you to be empowered by the good ones, because these are true thoughts. Now, why do we say, oh, but they feel like fact? Because they're in your spirit, girl. right? These are things that live in our spirit. And that's why this is called the faith model, because it's activating our faith through the renewed mind. This is what investigating your mind looks like. Because in your head, you're like, no, this is fact.
Can I say something quick?
Mm-hmm.
Looking at, like, I didn't have my vision board in front of me, but I gave myself too low a number, because one of the goals I had was to get another apartment, which I did. My relationship with the church was bad, and now that's been healed. My giving has gone up, and my relationship with my son has been better now. So I did more than I thought I did, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm. And did more of those thoughts come to you as you heard other people talking about good things coming to them? Okay. And this is why community is important.
Yep.
Okay. Because sometimes we only get to hear the bad in here, I mean, because we've rehearsed it so much that it is so easy to go to the default thinking rather than hearing other perspectives, and other perspectives pop new thoughts into your head. Because it makes you do what? Reflect, right? This is why December is so important to reflect.